Hello everyone, and welcome to a special edition of #Onward Lebanon. I'm Todd Yohey, Superintendent of Schools for the Lebanon City School District. Today is St. Patrick's Day. It is March 17th, 2020, and I am here today hopefully to provide you some information about how the Lebanon City Schools are responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. Here in Lebanon schools, we were very fortunate that we had an opportunity to do some planning for a long-term closure before the governor established and ordered a 3-week shutdown of schools. And so we had several preliminary plans that we were ready to implement. And for those of you that are parents, you know that we closed school last Friday to allow our teachers and staff to come in and finalize those plans and to begin implementation of those plans. We established 5 goals for our school district, and I'll talk about those just a little bit here in this broadcast. Those 5 goals are that number 1, we want to keep our working employees healthy. Number 2, we want to feed our at-risk student population. Number 3, we want to provide special education and related services to those students most in need. Number 4, we want to provide mental health services to those students most in need. And number 5, we want to provide instructional programming and guidance to students and parents. So some of the measures that we have taken to keep our working employees safe and healthy is that our schools are now closed to all students and to all members of the public. And we want to encourage people to stay away from the school buildings. If you have a need that arises, you should call the school building and talk to the personnel who are there, and arrangements can be made for you to come to the building and take care of whatever business that you need to take care of, but we are limiting that to just 1 or 2 people at a time. So for example, if you need to get a book for your child, or if you need to get some materials, or you need to complete some paperwork, you should call the school and make those arrangements. Nobody should just show up at school and expect to come in, to have access. So call first and then ask your questions about what needs to be done. We are also practicing social distancing in our facilities. Not all of our staff are reporting at the same time and on the same days. And so if you do call and you do not get an answer, please leave a message and then somebody will answer your questions within a couple of days. Starting yesterday, we implemented our food pickup programs for our students in need. We partnered with the Lebanon Elks Lodge yesterday to provide meals to about 200 kids and families. They did so from 4 to 6 o'clock yesterday evening in the alley beside the Lebanon Elks Lodge. It was very successful. We had a lot of great volunteers that helped pack up some of that food and get it to those families. Starting this Wednesday, we will have a second food pickup, which will be at the same time, 4 to 6 p.m., but the location is now changed to the Berry Intermediate School parking lot. So Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m., the Berry Intermediate parking lot, we again will be distributing food bags to students in need. You just pull through, somebody will hand you the bags of food and you can be on your way. We will repeat that again on Friday. So Friday, again, same time, same location, 4 to 6 p.m., Berry Intermediate parking lot. We will have our third food pickup. The food that you get on Wednesday will be enough for 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches. The food on Friday, again, will be 5 breakfast and 5 lunches. Right now, we are working on a regular, consistent schedule until we get through this pandemic and are allowed to return to school and some normalcy. And we will be communicating that past this week. But this week, Wednesday and Friday, Berry Intermediate School, 4 to 6 p.m. To pick up that food. I would like to say thank you to all of the people who have reached out to us to volunteer and to help with the food program. I'm happy to say that for this week, we have all of the volunteers that we need. We're trying to recognize the spirit of the mass gathering prohibition and trying to keep people separated even during this time of trying to distribute the food. So we have all the volunteers that we need for this week, but we are collecting your names and contact information because our belief is that this is going to go long enough that everybody's going to get a chance and an opportunity to help. But thank you to everybody who is currently volunteering this week, and thank you to everyone who has communicated to us that they would volunteer. We have students in our district who are currently being seen and counseled and treated by our mental health therapists from Children's Hospital. Those services have been provided at the school building. We have been informed by Children's Hospital that those therapists have either contacted all of the students that they are working with or are in the process of contacting those students and will be offering them telehealth services. So they'll still be able to interact with their therapist. It will just not be face-to-face. So if you haven't heard, if you fall into that category and you have not heard from the therapist, you should be hearing from them very soon. Our special ed directors and our intervention specialists are working hard on putting together programming for our students who receive special ed services and related services about what that programming is going to look like for them moving forward, again with an emphasis on providing services to our most at-risk students. And then, of course, there is the instructional programming and being able to deliver that instructional programming to students and parents during this time. And so all of our teachers have prepared for instructional programming and guidance to students and parents to begin on March 30th. You may remember our original school calendar has a scheduled spring break that begins next Monday. And so we are using this week and next week to make sure we have a good instructional program in place for students to continue remotely for instruction, and we will be rolling that out on March 30th. We've asked our teachers to prepare enough materials for the 2 weeks following spring break. As of right now, the governor only has us closed for the first week following spring break, but again, we're anticipating a longer closing, and so we want to be prepared for that. And then our teachers will remotely come back together to plan for any additional time that we may be out of school. And so right now we're operating from a philosophy that we want to do what's right and what's best for the kids in Lebanon. We are not worried too much about regulations and rules and things from that have guided us in the past. Right now, we think that we are all hands on deck to make sure that our kids are getting their needs met and that we're able to continue our learning program for them in some fashion. Again, probably more information and communications to follow. We've been doing, I think, a pretty good job of communicating with our parents and our community on what the schools are doing. It's a monumental task because, as you know, what we're hearing and the guidance that we're receiving is changing at a minimum daily and oftentimes 2 or 3 times within the same day. And so I encourage everybody to watch and listen to the news for accurate information. And certainly we are providing specific communications about Lebanon City Schools to people as we know it and as decisions are made. So we encourage everybody to follow the guidance of our health department leaders who are asking people to stay home, and if you have to be out, to practice staying a good distance away from other people. If you are sick and have symptoms of the flu, you certainly should stay home and not be around other people and infect them, as well as if you've been exposed to somebody who has been sick or exposed to the virus. I think together we can limit the number of people in our community who fall ill to the virus, and at the same time continue to meet the needs of our students and our community. So with that, I will sign off. Hashtag Onward Lebanon is a program that will air monthly here on Lebanon Channel 6, and I thank all of you for tuning in. Stay healthy.